Welcome back to another episode of the Cycle Podcast, a show where we cover 4 trending MLB topics in 20 minutes or less. Joining me, as always, is Josh, a.k.a. Kablumski. How you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm ready. I'm pumped. Great show ahead of us. Baseball is right here. WBC is right here. Let's get this show on the road. I know it. Let's make it happen.
One quick piece of news, by the way, that isn't one of our topics. Jurickson Profar suspended for the entire season for his second PED suspension. Something I never thought I would see again, by the way. I never thought we'd see another guy get popped twice. Unbelievable to think that you're not going to get tested all the time. So, major knock to the Braves, and that's something that came across the news earlier this morning. So I want to just throw it in there in case anybody hadn't seen it yet. But with that, let's get right into our first topic. Our first topic today is going to be covering the WBC pitching staff. Most notably, Tarek Skubal announcing that he not only is going to pitch one game in the WBC, his one game will be in pool play, and he will only pitch 50 or throw 55 pitches, giving himself a pitch cap in one start in the biggest baseball tournament in the world. So my question, with all due respect to one of the best pitchers in baseball, why are you on the roster?
Right.
We're, as fans of the USA and the WBC, we're looking at a knockout round where we've got Logan Webb, Crochet, Skeens, and Skubal. And it would have likely been Crochet, Skeens, Skubal. Now we have Crochet and Skubal. Crochet and Skeens. Great. So if we run into the Dominican Republic and Japan, we can still trot out 2 hyper elite starting pitchers. It's more of who would that roster spot have gone to? If you had said way in advance, I really only want to pitch one game, I think the team would have probably said, we'll call you in 2029 after you've got your big contract, when all this drama with the Tigers is over, come pitch for us and pitch in a full capacity. Now, granted, Brian Wu, Max Fried, Hunter Green, Andrew Abbott, Nick Lodolo were all extended invitations to pitch in the WBC. All turn it down to focus on the regular season and their health, which I understand. And that's the right thing to do. If you're more concerned with your health than you are with playing in the WBC, then just don't play. And nobody's going to hold that against you. My thing is, does that set a precedent of players capping themselves? Oh, I'm a hitter. I only want to play in the knockout round. Oh, I'm a reliever. I can give you 5 innings throughout the WBC. Things like that. It's setting a dangerous precedent, and it makes the USA as an organization look bad because you don't really see this from other countries. Guys saying, I give you a start. I can give you a few games. So, like I said, come back in 2029 when you've signed your contracts. Josh, what are your thoughts on this?
No, I think you bring up valuable points. I think you also, when you mention the precedent that he's trying to, or what he's portraying, essentially is it doesn't go unnoticed. You talk about the captain of the USA team, Aaron Judge, who has a sense of pride and a passion for this WBC more than ever. I mean, I believe this is his first WBC, if I'm not mistaken, and then him being the captain on top of that. He understands the value of having the best of the best in this tournament. And it's not just the all-star game to bring the best of the best to see who is best, but it's about the pride that comes with it when you represent the country that's across your chest. You bring up a valuable point as far as the other countries. You're not seeing that. You're not seeing that, especially like the lower income countries or the ones that are a little bit more less fortunate, I would say. These guys are scratching at any opportunity to be a part of this team and or represent their country. So for him to do that, I want to know why. I want to know like his reasoning behind it, because I understand there's 2 sides to the story. And I don't want to completely bash him, but it does not look good, especially somebody that we've been, on his side multiple times on this podcast alone, and gave him the tools to, make the right moves for his drama-filled offseason. And that's okay. Like if you don't want that, if you want to focus on that, by all means, nobody's going to judge you different. I think the judgment comes when you are half-assing it. Or, you know what I mean? Like when you are not fully committed, when you have guys, you listed a great amount of names, but it just gave me like NBA vibes. It gave me like the time restraint vibes that the NBA does. Hey, I'm only gonna play 2 out of the 5 games this week so I can rest or whatever. It's like, no, man, like you guys got fans that are paying top dollar to see you play, and the least that you can do is not only be a part of the team, but just show out, especially if you're capable of doing it. I'm not aware of any injuries that are prohibiting him from performing, and if you're putting a pitch count at 50 about pitches at the WBC, you might as well just do a spring training outing and go about it that way.
Pitch 3
But
innings and call it a day.
But I am not a fan of this, and it sucks that the USA team led by Aaron Judge is trying to set the culture there, and one of the biggest names in the game is kind of pulling against the rope in the opposite direction.
And to wrap this up, what does it do to the bullpen, by the way? What about you get a guy, what if he only goes 3 innings? Now you've got a bullpen that you're throwing out there, taxing some of those dudes, putting their health at risk,
Right.
putting Team USA's, seeding in the knockout round at risk. And I don't like it at all. Just stay home, man. Nobody, especially after what he just went through with his contract
Right.
and his negotiations, nobody would have blamed him for
Right.
saying that this isn't the one for him. But with that, let's move on to a more positive topic with our second. Our second topic today is going to be some breakout candidates that I came up with, and not just no-name guys that are going to come sort of into focus. I was thinking about sort of a variety here. So first up is going to be my Jesus Luzardo of this year, a guy
Okay.
who's been a solid pitcher in the past, change of scenery, sort of elevates himself into Cy Young contention. And for me, that guy is Edward Cabrera, now with the Cubs, formerly with the Marlins, very similar to Jesus Luzardo. Through my top-notch research, I've come up with some numbers that I think are very impactful. So Edward Cabrera obviously is a changeup first guy, throws a changeup about 30% of the time. In 2024, where he was a below average starting pitcher, he was throwing his four-seamer 28% of the time, his cutter 22% of the time, his sinker only 9% of the time. On average, it varied a little bit between lefties and righties. In 2025, where he was, I would say, an above average starting pitcher, by no means a shot like a lights out Cy Young guy, but very, very improved. Still a changeup primary. However, he really, really pushed his four-seamer back in his arsenal. Now throwing his cutter 24% of the time, slightly up from 22% in 2024, but it was his sinker 20% of the time, up from
There we go.
9%, and his
There we go.
four-seamer 13% of the time, down from 28 like we discussed. Now, a guy who still gets hit way too hard too often, but across the board in 2025, his metrics were better. So,
Excuse
a
me.
change of scenery. I think this is a guy who benefits. You all right there, bud?
Yeah, sorry.
I think a change of scenery helps him. Now,
Okay.
my player who's going to take the jump from good player to outstanding player, fringy all-star to MVP candidate, is my guy, Vinny Pasquantino. And here's why. He's the captain of Team Italy. This is a country who's trying to build up their baseball presence. They want to compete on the world stage. They have a solid lineup, but Vinny Pasquantino is the guy they're building that team around. And for him, I think being that guy, because he's never been that with Bobby Witt Jr. in Kansas City, being that guy for a team, I think will do a lot for him, for his approach to the game, understanding that this team rides or dies with me. And I think he can bring that back to the Royals and say, I'm the guy behind Bobby Witt Jr. Okay, that's my role, and I'm going to own it, just like he's going to own sort of the captain leadership role for Team Italy. I project him as a 280, 40 home run guy. In this past season, a 32 home run guy with a 264 batting average. I think he takes steps forward, contact and power wise. Then finally, the guy who I think sort of takes that leap into everyday solid player, Denzel Clark. Went down with an injury after only, I believe, 47 games. One of the best center fielders in baseball. He is an elite Gold Glove caliber guy. And for that reason, I think even if his bat slumps, Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas, whatever they are, will keep him in that lineup every day for his glove alone. And he has a very clear path to becoming a solid hitter. He has raw power, but his strikeout rate at 38% is bad. His walk rate at 3.8% is not enough. For a guy who has 97th percentile speed, if he focuses more on getting on base regularly, drawing walks, being more patient at the plate, combined with his glove, I expect him to have an outstanding year in 2026, given he stays healthy after recovering from the hip injury that ended his 2025 season. Josh, my rant is done. What do you think? Where am I off? Where am I right?
No, I think that those are great 3 candidates. First of all, I think that you touched on a number of things, but just to keep it somewhat short and sweet, the Cabrera thing that sticks out to me the most is the sinker usage. I think you said 9% up to 20-something percent. As you were reading off those numbers, it was especially for change-up or off-speed pitchers to begin with. It's good to get a fastball that is deceiving, maybe the two-seamer or maybe like a cutter. But working a split finger, a sinker, is something that can be an advantage to a off-speed pitcher predominantly. So that's something that I like to see in pitchers that are still trying to learn the game and better their craft and sharpen other tools in their toolbox. Vinny P, I think that you bring a good point as far as his leadership. I think it's going to help, like you mentioned, when he comes back to Kansas City. And by any means, like you said, he's not the face of Kansas City, but he could kind of carry that torch that Salvi's kind of, phasing out of, and like be like that second man behind the scenes, captain, leader for a young Jack Caglione or any of the young guys that you guys got coming
Who he's
up.
bringing with him to Italy, by the way. Jack Caglione going with Vinny.
Right. So that's something that you put him, underneath your arm here, kind of show him the ropes, and let Bobby Witt be his thing to control the rest of the team. And I think that helps out everybody. I don't think that steps on Bobby's toes by any means of being the captain. I think it just better enhances the team's chemistry, if that makes sense. And then the last one, Clark, when you talk about him being defensive, obviously Gold Glove, reminds me a lot of Kiermaier out there. Wasn't the best at the plate, but got the speed, got good reads, make good plays out there. It was very, very eventful and something to watch every time there was a ball hit to him. So I think that I get that same type of vibes with Clark. And I think that the way that they're going to be utilizing him in the lineup, bunning slash bunts, slapping the ball, things like that to kind of get him to see the ball better. So that way when he does put a good swing on the ball, he barrels it up because the power is there, right? It's just the swing and missing that we're trying to get rid of. And playing some small ball sometimes it lessens that gap.
Yeah. And by the way, playing in that itty bitty park in Sacramento. So a guy who has raw power, that's a great place to play in, to be completely honest.
Correct.
I could see him hitting 15 this year, to be honest.
Easy.
And I think that's where he should be. I don't think he should be trying to be a 30 or 40 home run guy. 10 to 15, elite defense, elite speed, get on base. Now you've got a star in the making. Our third topic is a game that I'm sort of springing on Josh, to be completely honest. I didn't give him this topic ahead of time, and we didn't discuss it off the pod. I told him, one, I'm not really going to tell you what we're doing. Two, not going to tell you what our categories are. Here's the game. In my infinite wisdom, and usually whilst falling asleep thinking about baseball, I came up with 4 far-fetched predictions. Obviously, I don't think any of these are going to happen. But you are going to rank from most likely to least likely. Starting with Ohtani wins the MVP. Obviously, but he also wins the Cy Young Award. Got it? Second, the Pirates win the NL Central. Third, Aaron Judge hits 65 home runs. And fourth, Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas finishes first or second in the AL West.
Oh man. And second, so you're not even gonna say that they're winning at all.
Nope, first or second.
Okay, I like this. I'm gonna go with my gut on this.
That's what I want.
As you were rattling them off, to me, which we'll talk about later on, the Pirates are gonna take this league by storm. I think that they have a young nucleus there. They're going to be overlooked on many levels, from hitting, pitching, defensively. They got somewhat of a good division to compete in. So that's most likely for me. I'm going to say Pirates win NL Central. Second likely is going to be Judge hitting 65 home runs.
Okay.
I don't see him. I don't see him slowing down any more than he already has. He is a generational talent. He is somebody who is fortunate to play in a high school field in New York. So he has all the tools and intangibles to hit a pop fly and it go 285 feet, whatever their lowest dimension is over there in the high school field. But no, I think that he's on another level. I think that even when he was injured, he was still an MVP. Well, he won MVP, right? But still in all of those categories. So that's number two. Number three, Otani winning MVP and Cy Young. that one I struggled with that 2-3 because that's not far fetched to me, John. There really isn't. I mean, yeah, he's always going to be in the MVP talks, right? But I mean, you got to throw him in the Cy Young talks as well. The guy's a unicorn. The guy's again generational talent. No signs of slowing down. Takes great care of his body. He has the right team surrounding him. He doesn't have to perform day in and day out at an elite level for his team to succeed. He can literally go out there and just do Shohei stuff and still be an MVP Cy Young caliber player. So, and that helps him a lot being in that organization. And then Oakland finishing up, right? Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas, like you said, finishing up in second. I think that them and the Pirates are going to be the teams that are going to really take the league by storm this year. I don't think it's far fetched. Honestly, I wouldn't mind throwing that up to 1 or 2, to be honest with you. So great topics, first of all. But Oakland, Sacramento, they got a haul last year at the trade deadline, right? So how do those pieces come into fire? How do those pieces come into fit? And when do they? Because I'm a true believer that once those pieces do come up and they make the right moves and the right chemistry pieces to go to the next level, watch out. That team is going to be something deadly. And like I said on this podcast before, the fans in Sacramento, Oakland, Las Vegas should be very, very happy about what the future brings in their ball club.
Yeah. See, here's how I had it. Judge hit 65, number 1.
Okay.
I had Oakland finishes first or second in the AL West, number 2, because I don't like the Rangers, and I don't think Houston's going to be good. I had Otani winning Cy Young and MVP at number 3. Okay. I had Pirates winning the NL Central at 4. I think the Pirates will finish third, but I still think it's more likely they finish last than they finish first. Okay, and with that, I don't think that the Brewers fall off is going to be as big as people think. And I don't think that the Cubs are going to be the mediocre version. I think that they could be a very good team this year. So that's how I had it. But you made great points as well. Agree to disagree. Let's move on. Our final topic is the return of Who's Hot. As you know, oh man, I'm glad. Baseball is officially back when we bring back Who's Hot. That's my take. And the baseball world is taking notice. Just keep that in mind. We haven't done this segment in a long time. We haven't had players that we could say who's hot. I was thinking about doing it with the Caribbean series, but we never got around to that. So we're basing this off of spring training. Our next one will be WBC, and then our next one will be the regular season. And my who's hot is young Orioles. We've got a new round of baby birds. We remember Gunnar Henderson, Adley, and Jackson Holiday. Now we're talking Kobe Mayo and Vance Honeycutt. Vance Honeycutt, by the way, first 3 at-bats of spring training, 3 home runs. Colby Mayo, 6 for 12 with no strikeouts to start the season, sprinkling in some extra base hits. How dangerous is this roster
Oh yeah,
if these guys are this good? Now,
yeah,
it's spring training. Hit the brakes, me. But we've been saying for years, they've got more and more coming up the pipeline. Samuel Basallo coming up the pipeline. Vance Honeycutt almost ready to go. Carter Young, I believe, as well in that group. And now you're talking about a team that just added Pete Alonso,
come on,
a team that is going to get Adley Rutschman back at that MVP form because last year was an aberration. He is a great catcher. He's among the
oh
best
yeah,
catchers in baseball, and I
yeah,
expect him to show that this year.
oh
So,
yeah.
for my who's hot is just the next wave that they're going to bring up. And by the way, they all look like Gunnar Henderson. A bunch of prospects who were made in a lab, carbon copies of each other, just great baseball players top to bottom. Um, I am almost ready to call the AL East for them as my prediction because
Yeah,
it's been Blue Jays, Blue Jays, Blue Jays, Blue Jays in my mind. But now I'm not so sure. Just slot in a few more solid bats, everyday, reliable players in that lineup, and that is dangerous. And it's their pitching staff that is going to make or break them because this offense could be among the best in baseball. Josh,
he's a
I'll turn over to you so you can glaze your boy even more because I know where you're going. Go ahead.
yeah. But first of all, real quick, just to give you kudos on that because it just goes to solidify how great and powerful this division is when you got the Blue Jays still a lot of people's World Series contenders still, and then you throw in the mix of what Boston's bringing down the pipeline and Baltimore. So it's something impressive, and then you're not even mentioning New York. But
And then the Rays just kind of being feisty and screwing everybody's seating up.
the little
Yeah, I mean,
chihuahuas that are just biting at the ankles, that's what we do.
I love it.
No, but I think that we gotta when I talk about who's hot, um, I'm gonna go into my boy real quick, but just the last minute that I want to give flowers to. And this kind of hurts me because it's a Yankee. So I'm not gonna pick him as my who's hot because that'll go against everything that I believe in. But Spencer Jones to me has switched his batting approach, very Shohei Ohtani esque approach, and in 3 swings has 3 home runs, 3 for 10. All of home runs, been walking,
I think
great
he's hit one
at
like
bats.
120 miles an hour.
It's insane. It's insane. So I want to give him his flowers. Do I think that's going to sustain? Probably not, especially as a power hitter. But as of right now, anytime you hit 3 home runs, that's something to not laugh about. So speaking of hitting 3 home runs, how about hitting 3 home runs before the age of 20? Hitting 3 home runs as a teenager, guys. Connor Griffin is he's on the map. There's no more of hey, this is the best prospect we got in MLB. No, people are coming to know his name and feel his presence. Not only his physicality, because obviously he's a massive of a human being, especially at his age. But when you talk about his maturity level and what he's doing at the plate, and it just goes to show that he is ready for this leap. The guy was destined to be great out the gate. He's not something that is we need to kind of tone him down or make sure he gets ready before the show. Guys, he is ready. Like John said before, I've been on this kid since the Pirates drafted him. I saw him plenty of times over here in Bradenton, and the guy is a man amongst boys. It was very, very clear and very obvious at a very, very early time in his career in Bradenton that I knew that this was not going to be a long stay, and he just kept on going up. But 3 home runs and 14 at bats goes a long way. And a lot of people don't understand too is that once he gets on base, you're looking at a 40-40 candidate when it's all said and done. Yeah, he can hit the long ball, but he's going to wreak havoc on the base pass as well. So something to look forward to. I believe he had a double off the wall today against Colombia. So the guy is not fizzling out by any means. If anything, it's going to be a tough decision for the Pirates organization to see if he is able to make that opening day roster.
Oh, if he doesn't make the opening day roster, shut the whole fucking franchise down. Sorry, mom. My mom has gotten on me about saying bad words in my podcast. I'm sorry for that one. But no, shut the whole franchise down because Connor Griffin is going to sell tickets and he might be the best bat you got on that roster. Incredible talent. And like you said, the maturity. If you're 19 years old and you are standing in the box against some of these pitchers, even in spring training, and holding your own, that shows maturity. But to be doing it in a dominant fashion at 19 years old, I mean, you're ready. And I don't want to hear any of this service time garbage. Just bring the guy up and get this train rolling. Because I want to see him. You want to see him. Pittsburgh wants to see him. Let's just start the show here, people.
I agree.
With that, let's wrap up this episode. As always, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. Leave us a comment with what you want us to talk about before the regular season kicks off. Keep in mind, we are doing every other week for now for the next month or so. And then we'll be going back to regular everyday episodes within the first month, or sorry, every week episodes within the first month of the baseball season. Josh, I hope you're as excited for baseball as I am. I'll let you take us home.
No, I appreciate it. Good episode. Like I said, WBC starts tomorrow. Guys, let us know who you think is going to win WBC. Any early predictions, anything like that. And let's get this show started, baby.
Peace.